What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and I am here today, you guys, with a brand new review for the Real Housewives of Dubai. You guys, this is going to be season 2, episode number 2. You guys, episode was titled "Friendship on the Rocks." You guys, was it ever? But before we go ahead and get into the review, if you guys are watching this video or any other on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed yet, need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and then having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and also by turning on your post notifications, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let us go ahead and get into this episode of The Real Housewives of Dubai. Now, I want you guys to tell me your honest opinions. What are you guys thinking about this second episode of The Real Housewives of Dubai? For me, it was interesting to say the least. And it was interesting because of one person, and I do not even want to speak about that person. So what I'll do when I get to that person is I'll just simply say the other black woman, but she's an interesting person to say the least. And I'm still curious as to why Bravo chose to bring her back for a second season because she's completely, there's something wrong with the lady, and I don't know what it is. But we will go out of order of this episode and talk about Lisa first, you guys. I think that's all I'm going to go ahead and start the episode up with. So we see Lisa. What I will say about Lisa is I love her family. I think her family is such a little cute little family. Her boys are so cute, and it's interesting to hear her boys with different accents. I think that is so fascinating because I think one of them talks like a has a British accent. I think another one has like a Jamaican accent. I think it's cute. So Lisa is talking to her husband, letting him know that her mom is going to be coming and visiting Dubai. And so, if you guys don't remember, Lisa is from College Hill, Miami, and she's the one that had to fight with that girl Terry. So Lisa's from Miami, and her mom, I thought it was so sweet that when she moved to Dubai, her mom, the hospital that she worked at, she took a night shift so that way she and Lisa could talk during the day. And I was like, oh, that is so sweet. Now, do I think my mama would have done something like that for me? Actually, yes, she would have, because I was a mama's boy, so she absolutely would have done that, right? So Lisa wants her mom to move to Dubai because, Lisa grew up with her mom and her grandmother, raising her. So she kind of wants to keep that tradition with her boys. And I'm here for it. Now, what I will say before we move on, if you guys don't watch What Happens Live, so Lisa was on Watch What Happens Live last night. And man, when I tell y'all she was shading the absolute HE double hockey sticks out of Chanel Lyon, I was like, ooh. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't know if this friendship is salvageable at this point, but we shall see by the time we get to the reunion. I'm really curious to see how we got to the point that we got to now, currently, present day, with Chanel and Lisa. Like, I'm really interested to see that part, right? Now, Lisa did say that her mom wants her to move back to Miami, and I mean, shit, I would too, hell, because I'm sorry, because what is the I wonder what the current temperature, what the current weather is. I know it's hot in Dubai because it's June, so I'm pretty sure it is hot as crap in Dubai. But so yeah, her mom kind of wants her to move back to Miami, but Lisa wants her mom to move there. They talked about getting her mom her own place because Lisa was like, "Oh, she's loud in the bedroom." I was like, "Okay, Lisa, I ain't even mad at it. I ain't even mad at it." But yeah, let me know what you guys thought about that. We did see her. She went to the airport to pick up her mom with her boys, and that was really all we got from Lisa in this episode. So it is currently 94 degrees in Dubai, but it feels like 103. My God, that is hot. Sounds like Texas. But let me know what you guys thought about Lisa in the comments, and we'll pause here and we'll move on to the next person, you guys. So next up, I'll discuss Sarah. So with Sarah, now what I will say is I do like Sarah. My problem with Sarah is it feels like Sarah is the type of person who is a know-it-all, and she wants to impart her wisdom or knowledge onto her friends. And I think that's the vibe I get from Sarah. I still like her. She just she feels like people who just put their nose into other people's business without them, it's without them asking for the help or the guidance that Sarah wants to offer. It's not a bad thing, but you got to know your friends, right? So Sarah and Ion, they met up with each other, right, for lunch. And Ion told Sarah that, she felt bad about the conversation that they did have at the brunch. And so Ion had wrote Sarah a letter and she apologized to Sarah. And so Sarah, apologized to Ion as well. And I'll go a little bit deeper because there was a solo scene with Ion or with the other ladies and a solo scene with Ion, and I'll talk about those and give my thoughts and opinions about it. But I'm happy that both Sarah and Ayan were able to sit down, have the conversation, and just put it out on Front Street and move forward. So I'm happy that we don't have to spend too much time on that. But you guys can tell me your thoughts and your opinions down in the comments below, you guys. And we'll go on and move to the next person, you guys. So hold on, you guys. Getting text messages. My bad, you guys. Sorry about that. We'll go on ahead and move over to Ion. So with Ion, I will say big ups to Ion. She has her is cool. I like the fact that from her first season, she knew that she went into the beauty industry. So she has her Ion Beauty. And I saw her promoted last night on social media. So big ups to Ion. Now, what I will say to Ion though is, how much of the business are you like? Is it just the fact that you started a business and you want to see the profit and the proceeds from it? Because when your husband Chris was talking about forecasts and all this stuff, you had no idea what he was talking about, right? And I will say when it comes down to Ayan, I do like the fact that her models are Somalian. I love that she's trying to give back to Somalian girls. That is dope for real, like real dope. And so at one point her partner was like, she's zoned out, right? Because Chris was just talking and talking and talking, and I was like, yeah, I think Ayan is kind of zoned out on that situation. But after that, they then had the conversation about the brunch, and that's when she said that she felt bad about the things that happened with Sarah, and so she said she's going to write Sarah a letter and just express to Sarah how she feels. And sometimes I think that is best when you do that, like when you have when you and a friend have gotten into with each other, right? And you just say, let me just sit down, and instead of screaming at them, going off on them, or even just texting them, just sit down, collect your thoughts, and write a well thought out letter or whatever, or even a text to them. Just write something that's well thought out and it expresses how you truly feel. I was here for that. I like that because you don't see that too often in Housewives, where they'll sit down and write a letter and then go and read the letter to that friend. So I liked it. I did. I did. I think other people could benefit from it, especially on this show. But we'll talk about that person in a little bit. Now, what I will also say is when it comes to that person whose name I don't want to say, the other black woman, I'm not going to mention her scene because I didn't watch her scene when the episode was live. I actually paused her scene and I went to the commercial breaks, and then on the rewatch, I skipped right past her scene again. So I won't be mentioning the other black woman. The only people that I mention on this show are Ion, Lisa, Stanberry, Sarah, and Talene. That other woman, she gets no mention from me. period, point blank. But we'll go ahead and move on to the next person that I want to talk about, which is Stanberry. So shout out to Caroline Stanberry because I tweeted something last night and it wasn't to be shady or anything. Because what I tweeted was because I was looking at her when she was in that scene with both Ion and with Lisa, and I tweeted that Stanberry, her facelift looks good. And so she quote retweeted me and said it's her old face. And I was like, oh my God, I felt so bad when she said it was her old face because I saw on social media all last week where people were saying she got a facelift. And I thought she got a facelift, but she still looks good, right? And what I will say with Stanberry this season, because last season I was not a huge fan of Stanberry, but this season I'm giving Stanberry a whole fresh slate, right? What I will say is I have not forgot the comment that her husband made on social media. I can't forget that because as a black person, that's just something that I can't forget, especially when it comes to a non-black person using the N-word. I just can't get past that. But I'm cool with, like I said, with Stanberry, I'm moving in a different, I'm moving forward and I'm giving her a decent shot this season, right? Until she does something that I'd be like, okay, girl, can't rock with you. But we saw as Stanberry was having lunch with Lisa and Ion, right? Now, what I will say about Ion, again, I love Ion, but I be looking at them clothes that she wears to her scenes, and I'd be like, girl, I know you're hot because Dubai is the desert. And I just be looking like, girl, I know you hot. She came in with the gloves on her hand and this dress. It was just because you see what Stanberry had on and what Lisa had on, and they looked comfortable. Ayan looked like she was hot. So they did talk about the situation with Sarah and Ayan, right? So here's my 2 cents on Ayan and Sarah. I have to agree with Stanberry. I do not believe that when it came down to it, that the whole victim comment, I don't think that Sarah meant it in a malicious way. I think what she was trying to say is, yes, something happened to you in your past, but don't go through the rest of your life using that as, and I'm using air quotes, as an excuse for bad behavior, right? And I think she could have said it that way instead of saying victim. I think she could have said, yes, you were victimized by people, but you can't go through the rest of your life using that childhood trauma to excuse your actions. That's what I wish she said. So Stanberry, I'm not talking to you. So then Stanberry, they were talking about the situation with Stanberry, Talene, and the other black lady, right? And what I will say about the other black lady is I think that she's just looking for an issue where there might not necessarily be an issue. Because Stanberry is saying that she didn't say the things that the other black lady is accusing her of, right? And we'll get into that in a few minutes as well. So the next thing we see with Stanberry is Stanberry and Sergio. So they're packing to move out of her friend's house, right? They've been there for 3 months. Now I love my friends and my family, you know, unconditionally. But baby, I don't know if I could do 3 months of people living in my house. Ooh, especially a married couple and a newlywed couple at that. Granted, they're not doing the deed like that, but ooh. Now, Sergio. When it comes down to Sergio, Sergio is very needy and he's very clingy because Stanberry and her ex-husband, they're getting ready to come over to the States because their daughter is going to college over here and she wants to do college tours, but she wants her parents with her. Sergio feels like Caroline could get back with her ex-husband. This could be a honeymoon for them. And I was like, Sergio, they are literally going for a college tour. Like, I was just so confused. Like, sir, please pick up your balls. Like, pick them up, sir. Can you do anything without Stanberry? Somebody left it in the comments last week, and I think I know who it was. somebody looking in my comment section, and now I'm starting to see it because somebody compared Sergio and Caroline to Croy and Kim, and I really do see it at this point. I'm starting to, I can see it because he is her valet, her show. He is a what Corey is to Kim. Well, I hope they don't end up like Corey and Kim. That's yeah, it's Miss AKA 1908. I hope they don't end up like Sergio and Kim, but I can see the comparison. I really can. But that's really all we got with Sergio and Caroline. So as I said earlier, you guys, I am skipping the other black lady. So I'm not mentioning her at all on the channel. So we can go ahead and move on to the next person that we'll talk about. And this will be the point of us, I think, wrapping up the episode because I think I've talked about everybody. I talked about Ion, talked about Sarah, Lisa, Stanberry. So yeah, we can wrap up the episode with Talene. Now, what I will say about Miss Talene, Talene's family, well, her husband's family, I'm not saying she doesn't have money, but her husband's family got money. So she has two kids under the age of 4. So her oldest is 3, I believe, and her youngest is 1 year old. Their names are Gigi and Sienna. And so she had Sarah over to her home, right? And so she was before Sarah got there, she was talking about the arc, that her husband's family was in contract, was a father, her husband's father was a contractor, and he built some of the biggest, he built some of the stuff that you see in Dubai, right? So then Sarah came over, and so Talene wants to play matchmaking. I was like, ooh, I don't know if this is gonna be a good idea, sis, but okay. And then especially when you see the man that she want to play magic, put her up with, I was like, ooh, okay, never mind. So then the other black woman showed up, right? Damn, my bad, y'all. So the other black lady showed up, and when she showed up, they had, they talked about oh, I forgot to mention that Talene lives in the Palm where Beyonce had her concert, right? So when the other black lady got there, she was talking mad crap about Ion, Lisa, and also Stanberry, right? And I'm so confused with that lady because if you guys didn't watch season 1 of Dubai, it was so interesting how the reunion played out, right? Because after the reunion last season, it was Lisa and Aya against the rest of those girls, right? Because after they went to the reunion, the other girls went out to lunch and excluded from what I can remember. They went somewhere, or there was a photo of them, and it excluded Ion and Lisa, right? So I'm kind of confused how we've gotten from her being buddy buddy with Nina, Stanberry, and Sarah to her now having this issue with Stanberry. What I will say, the issue with Stanberry doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You're taking on a beef that Celine should have with her if these things that you say Stanberry said about Celine are true, right? Like if these things that you say are true, then then Celine should have the issue, right? But I think that that other black lady needs to seek professional help because she's unhinged to me. And I don't like using that word, but she is completely unhinged. Like they tried to talk about Candace being a terror on Twitter. That is that other black lady. That woman is a menace on Twitter. And that's where that's where I have the issues with her at because oh, she is so reactive. She wants to pretend as if she's okay with people shading her on social media, but then when you shade her, she wants to come for you. And it's like, girl, which one is it? Pick, pick something. Pick something. But for me personally, I think that she is just looking for an issue with Stanberry where there isn't one. I really do. But you guys can tell me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section and in the live chat, right? So we then see that Talina is having a party at her home. And remember, I said she lives on the Palm. So she's invited everybody over to her party. Everyone is coming with the exception of Lisa, who was picking her mom up from the airport. So everyone started to show up. I did notice when the other black woman came in, she did seem a little bit in need. It seemed like she had probably been drinking before she got to the party. And so I was like, oh, this finna go downhill quickly. So then Sarah showed up, Ayan showed up, and then when Stanberry and Sergio came in, that's when the other black lady wants to say that, she's called Stanberry Two-Faced. And I was like, okay, how's she two-faced? Like she ain't said nothing negative about you, so I don't understand how she's two-faced, right? What I also will say about the other black woman is she's very passive aggressive, right? Because they were trying to get her to speak to Stanberry. Now I will give her the fact that she didn't want to speak to her. I will give that to her. But then she eventually went up to Stanberry and was talking to her, saying that she's been a B word to her, and so Stanberry was like, "Well, pot meet kettle, hello." And so then the passive aggressiveness from that lady was when she was making a comment about Talene's hoo ha, right? Alicia waxed. I was like, oh my God, girl, you are acting as if this woman said something derogatory or negative about you. And I'm just not really understanding the situation. I'm really not understanding it, right? Now, that man that Talene wanted to set Sarah up with, girl, I don't think that's her type. I'm just, I don't know what Sarah's type is, but I don't think that man was it because Sarah didn't seem too enthused by it. So then at one point, the other black lady and Stanberry, they went outside to have a conversation, right? So she was talking to Stanberry about this thing with Talene. And so Stanberry was like, well, Talene said that you told her that I didn't like her. So then she sent for Talene, right? So Talene came out and said, well, the way you painted it, yes, it appears that she didn't like me. And so then this woman said, well, she said that your pee hole was out. I'll pee you, the cat friend, right? I was like, oh my God, girl, you have no tact. I can't with this woman. And that's at this point I realized I'm like, you know what? The other black woman is drunk. Y'all need to take the drinks from her because she's doing the most. And so at one point I was with Stanberry because Stanberry got up and walked away from the whole conversation. And somebody said something about it, and I think she called her a see you next Tuesday. And I was like, girl, she ain't said like that's my problem with this lady. Like that woman ain't said nothing negative or derogatory about you, and then you sit here and call her out of her name. That is why I don't like that lady. And I know, like last week I said, and I'll say it again. I tried to go light on her, but I don't know. I do know that like I said last week, that her niece was murdered. So I do know that, and I do extend condolences to her. But Sarah, the person that you were talking to, and here's the other weird thing to me: the fact that that woman said that Sarah's been such a good friend to her. Ma'am, you went off on Sarah last season. You went off on Sarah. Granted, I think you were in the right for feeling the way that you felt when it came to your son. I was okay with that. It was your approach. Like, I'm still confused why they brought this lady back. So confused. But that was the episode. As I stated, I will not be mentioning the other black woman on the channel, but you guys are free to leave anything in the comment section about her that you want to talk about that I'm not talking about, and we can discuss it in the comment section. But be sure to like the video, you guys, subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, and share the video, you guys. Until the next time, stay safe, take care of yourself, you guys. Wash your hands, be blessed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Also, I do want to give a shout out to my good girl, Belle, the Belle Perspective. I know she is reviewing Dubai, so go over there and watch her videos. You guys will have a good time laughing at Belle. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.